What's up, guys? All right, I'm trying to get back into. I was trying to get into like a rhythm of like some kind of being consistent with the videos and stuff, but with the vintage dads kind of screwed me up since I was gone that weekend and I had a little medical procedure yesterday. So uh, yeah, I'm just kind of out of whack. So it's been a while since I put a video out, so I figured I was gonna put something together and get it out there, and hopefully on Sunday I can get back to the was it like the my land of misfit RC, my forgotten projects and stuff. So I'll see if I can get a video done, find something else. I'm starting to run out of those too, surprisingly. But there's a couple more things I could get into, so I'll dig something else out and see if I can get back to the consistency that I was hoping to get before the Vintage Nats. So I'll just start with we got the RC10 Talk Vintage Fall Brawl coming up at the end of October. We're going to be closing out Insanity's season again, like last year. So I don't remember if we did it. I don't remember if we did it for the Roostpalooza race earlier this year, but I know for the Venus Shootout in July or June or July. I don't remember. I think it was July. I think it was June, like the third week of June. So anyway, decided to add because we run a Y2K buggy class, so it's anything like 2000 and newer buggies, rear motor buggies. And some of the guys there were saying, they had like triple XTs or T4s, T4.1s, whatever. And so they were looking to see if I could add a Y2K class for the truck. So I did for the race in June, and there was only like 3 guys. So I was a little disappointed in that. Sorry, my sinuses are a mess. So I was a little disappointed in that, but I was like, okay, I'll leave it on, leave it on the roster again for the Fall Brawl and see what happens. I knew I was probably going to. I typically run my T3 in the stadium truck class because I run my classes up till 97. So you can run like a B3 in two-wheel drive, T3 in stadium truck, and so you're good. But you could technically run the B3 and the T3 in the Y2K class also because their production run ran up to 2003. So what I had been doing for buggy was running like either my B15 or my B2 in two-wheel drive, and I was running my B3 in the Y2K. So this year I'm going to run my long arm B3. Just got to clean it up a little bit. It still has the dirt and stuff on it from the Vintage Nats. And I got a new set of sprinters to glue up for it, green sprinters. So I'm not really going to do anything else with that other than clean it up. I might put green springs back on the front, but we'll see. I might just leave it like that and see how it feels in practice and kind of go from there. But the stadium truck, I had built this 10T for our Roostpalooza race, the Loose Dirt race in April. And I had thought about running it in June in stadium truck and then running my T3 in the Y2K class. But there was something about the truck, something with the speed control. I picked up a brand new Easy Run, a Hobby Wing Easy Run ESC. It's kind of like it's 120 amp that you can get for like, I don't know, $50 right now. But it was like a few years old. It was like still blue and whatever. And so I had thrown that speaking control in the truck, and for some reason, I just don't think it's right. I think there's something, I don't know, it just didn't seem to have it, right? Like the truck just seemed kind of, I don't know, just kind of like dog shit, really. And I think I could get away with how the truck was running because it was the loose dirt race and everyone was fighting for traction. And I knew if I go running this thing on the hard pack surface, I was just gonna get my ass kicked. So I didn't have a chance to really mess with it before the race. So I just ran my T3 in stadium truck class, and I didn't run the Y2K class. So I figured for this year, I'm going to try and get this together. So I had this Speed Passion Reventon Pro, and I had been using it for a while, and it worked great. I actually had it in my T3. And last year, let's see, I guess it was, I don't remember if it was just, I think it was just one of the series races there. I went to one of their series races, and second round, or actually maybe, I think it was second round, um, qualifying and going down the long straightaway, the truck just shuts off. I was like, okay, well, that's weird, right? And I had the was it the thermal set and everything, or enabled and everything on the things. I was like, okay, well, maybe it just got hot. And by the time I went and got my truck after the race, it turned back on. There was nothing, like there was just nothing wrong. So I had turned the thermal stuff, or disabled it, just kind of out of curiosity. So I did that, ran it into main, and it shut off again. So after that, I pulled it and put a LRP flow in the T3, and I had my buddy Joe look at this one. He took it apart and kind of went over everything, and he didn't see anything that was wrong with it, right? So I've been kind of hesitant on putting it in something, but I figured, you know what? I'm just going to throw it in here, and we're going to see what happens. I'll take another one along, or if I don't have another one to take along, I'll just not run it, if it starts acting up. So at this point, I'm getting it ready to run stadium truck at the Fall Brawl, and I'll run my T3 in the Y2K stadium truck. And for this it's pretty much ready to go now, because I got a motor and stuff in it and got it all set up. I took it outside, took it for a rip outside, and everything's seems to be in working order. I just got to get the set of the Pioneer wheels. So I just got to get a set of Sprinters for this one yet. Two-wheel drive, I'm probably just going to run my B2. I would assume it worked really well at the Vintage Shootout in June. I finished second. So maybe I can get one more spot higher. We'll see if my consistency stays a little bit better, or gets a little bit better. Maybe that'll happen. And then, actually, yeah, I think that's it. So I'll run that in Y2K, my B2 in two-wheel drive, that one in stadium truck, and the T3 in Y2K stadium truck. So that's the plan on that. Yeah, well, I'm thinking about it. I couldn't say it. I didn't know if I could say anything about these before, when I had initially got this card finished up for the Vintage Nats, but now that they're available, G Concepts has new kingpins for the, I guess, the 5.5 balls for the B3 and T3 and stuff. So you can run the B6 style cups on your B3 T3. And this is something that I've been talking to my buddy Joe for a few years about wanting to do this, because being able to upgrade the, not that, you really, I felt I needed it, but I thought, it'd be cool to have, because the B3, B4 style ball cups were starting to get a little tough to find, the longer ones. So I was like, well, if we can make a kingpin that my idea was to actually make a kingpin that you could thread a B6 ball stud into, but it was just going to end up, the ball stud would end up being way too high, and you have to raise it on the tower and everything. And it wasn't going to work. And, he's not able to be making it in one piece. So, it just kind of never happened, at least, on my end for like personal use. So this is cool. I have another pair yet. What was that? I got another pair. So I need to update my T3 at some point over the winter, because I don't think, once I'm done racing the the Fall Brawl, I don't think I'll run the T3 again until probably next spring. Unless I take it to the North Carolina race. I could run it in the Y2K class at World of RC. And they just dropped. So that race is going to be, see if I remember the dates. I think it was January 9th through the 11th for the Vintage World Classic at World of RC in Lucama, North Carolina. So shout out for that. That's a cool race. It's indoors. Clay, really nice wet clay. You run slicks. It's not glued surface. I actually think I'd actually like to mount a set of foams up on some buggy wheels just to try it, because I actually think foam tires would work pretty well there. But yeah, so that one's in January. What else? Oh, I think I'm hoping my kid is actually able to make it to the Fall Brawl. He's been, he has two little kids and working 12-hour shifts and like 4 on, 3 off. So, but he's kind of like in this schedule where he has weekends off. So I'm hoping he'll be able to run his World's car, because I honestly don't think he's actually wheeled this thing in like 2 years. So, but it's all ready to go, other than I gotta put a chassis protector on it. Yeah. But other than that, I put all the radio gears and stuff is in it. I got a Phantom. Yeah, V2. I think that's a V2 torque motor. So this should rip. So I'm hoping he can make it, and then he can run this in 2-wheel drive. What else we got going on? I don't want to make it too long. The only other thing I really did since coming back from the Vintage Nats was I got the blue tub that I ran in 2-wheel drive cleaned up a little bit and got that put away. And I finally got to the point where I'm retiring my Vitava 3PM. I bought this new in 2008 for the first Vintage Nationals. Up until then, I was never big like on radios. I never thought I really needed like good radios and all that stuff. I used the KO EX5 radio that I was using in 1991. I was still using that radio in 2002 when I stopped racing weekly. Um, I liked it. So I didn't spend money on radios like at all. Um, so it was good 6 years, I guess. And the 2.4 stuff was coming out, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna finally get a new radio. So this is the one I got, and I've been using that radio ever since then. That's been my go-to. And a couple years ago, well, I guess more than a couple years ago, probably 2017, 2018, I had picked up a World's Car, like kind of ready to run, a re-release World's Car ready to run. And it came with one of these, the 3PL. Well, this one was the fast system, and this was that the FHSS, right? So I couldn't use the receivers or anything with it, or they were different. And I was buying up a bunch of the Orange RX fast receivers for this, and I really only had like one of the actual Futaba ones, like the 603 FS, I believe it was, or it is. And I'm retiring all my vintage Nats cars, and I want to have them like back as I raced them. And the farther away it got from some of these cars, I think the harder it's going to be to kind of put them back. It's going to it'll cost me a small fortune just to kind of put radio systems or electronics and stuff back in. And I guess it's really only like maybe 3 or 4 of them. But I would need 3 LRP flows or Works team flows, and but anyway, I kept taking the receivers out, and I would leave the cars together. Basically, since I ran the Kinwald car, so that was 2019 when he passed away. Since then, I had left all the electronics in the cars. And I would just pull the receivers out because they didn't have a bunch of them. So some of them, like Brian's car, because I used one of the Orange RX receivers, I kept that one in there, and I just kept moving the Futaba one around. And then, long story short, because it's already 18 minutes, my buddy Reggie, he was using one of these up until last year also. And his radio took a shit, and he had a few receivers. And I guess his dad raced with one of these and had some extra receivers that he wasn't using anymore. I don't know if his radio took a shit too, and then he had these receivers, so he sent them to Reggie, and then Reggie sent them to me. So it was like 3 of them, like 3 or 4. I think he said one was bad and he chucked it. I kind of wish he wouldn't have, because it would have been perfect for display purposes. But so I got like 3 of them from Reggie, plus my Futaba one, and I think I had 3 or 4 of the Orange RX receivers. So after, I guess basically after, I don't think I actually used it after the Roospalooza, because I had one of the fast receivers in that. Yeah, so I'm to the point now where most of my cars have receivers that will. Before I go too far. So I had been buying for like my B2s, B3s, the T3. I had been buying these Corona receivers that worked with this radio. So I had a bunch of cars outfitted and I was using this radio. Well, then I found out I've been wanting to get a new radio, right? Something that looked a little more modern. Uh, so even though it's old, I had picked up this 4 p.m. Used Facebook Marketplace, pay like $80 for it. But all of the Corona receivers that I was using with this worked with this. So I was able to get, a more modern radio. And it would work with all of those receivers that I already had. So that made it like really simple. So I had bought even more of those Corona receivers to start outfitting like this and a couple other cars. So now I'm to the point where I don't need a 3 p.m. anymore. So I was able to my Masami car that I ran at the 2024 Vintage Nats would be the last one that I used with that. Well, not technically, I ran the Roostapalooza race. So I was able to put I had left the receiver in that Masami car from last year. I was able to put one back in the Masami car from 23. Put one in the one from 21. Then my copper car, I had stolen the radio system out of that to put in the blue tub that I ran this year. But because I wasn't planning on running that this year, I just threw some stuff in it. Hobby Wing ESC and one of the Corona receivers for the 4 p.m. So I was able to put the LRP that I had actually taken out of the copper car and put in the blue car for the INS race. I was able to put that back in the copper car, put a receiver back in there. I put a 17.5 back in there. The only thing I'm missing is I don't have any more sensor wires. So I got to get a sensor wire so I can finish that one up. But yeah, so I can stop taking a bunch of radios to the track. So that'll be nice. Just have everything in one radio and I'll be good to go. So I kind of think this is already getting long enough. I kind of think that was everything I wanted to cover. Or I thought about discussing. So like all my Vintage Nats retirees are for the most part whole all the way back to 2019. So 2018, 17, 15, and 2008. I got to get back together. And actually, 2008 would actually be pretty easy. I would need another one of those Futaba receivers, but I ran a LRP QC2 in that, and it's actually in my man array that I run in the classic class. So if I get another another ESC for the man array, that one will go back in my 08 NASCAR. Yeah. So, all right. So I think this is good enough. Like I said, let's see if I can find something to... I have an idea what I want to do a video on for my stalled out builds. A stalled out build video on Sunday. So we'll see. It'll be one or the other. So we'll see which one it is. All right, guys. See you on the next one.